This is really good.
Right?
Like it's perfect. And I'm very particular about my tea and my coffee.
Yeah.
Like 9 out of 10
Yeah.
times I send it back and have them remake it like 5 times.
Yeah.
So
I stopped going to Starbucks probably like a year ago, probably around the same time I bought the shop. And I have my niece now, Vanessa, that works in the shop, and she was a big Starbucks fan. And now she walks into Starbucks and she's like, I don't know what to order. Like my palate doesn't even go there. Like you don't even crave sweet artificial anymore. You're like, and I do that too because I'll be at home and I'll be like, man, I want something cool, and I'll do like an iced tea. Like I don't buy sodas, I don't buy juices. Like
yeah,
make iced tea.
yeah,
That's my thing.
yeah. I'm here today in
We are in the city of Norwalk.
Norwalk.
Luis.
Who is?
I am the owner of Zen's Tea House, the Norwalk location.
The Norwalk location. And Norwalk is where in
You can find us in Southeast LA.
in the shop today.
Yeah, we're
We
doing
have
this
our tea.
live.
What tea do I have?
You are drinking roseberry with citrus oolong. And I am drinking also roseberry with dream of flowers. So it's a calming tea.
Yeah, I love it. And then come on down and try the flight of tea tubes. You can have like a
For
whole, right?
sure, if you guys have time, come into the shop. We have tea flights. So you can pick any four, hot or cold, milk teas as well.
Yeah,
All loose leaf, all premium, all natural teas.
they're so yummy. I've tried them all. Highly recommend it.
Awesome.
Let's start. How did you open this place? What did that look like?
So the shop is myself and my cousin, Steve.
Our cousin. 'Cause we
Our
are
cousin. Oh yeah, so we're cousins. Our cousin Steve. We already have a security business, and we have it now for about 10 years. And we're looking to jump into a new industry. We wanted something that could create good cash flow, something that we can keep small and like local and really hit that community aspect. And just want to bring out a good product. So we honestly didn't know what it would be. Originally, we thought coffee. Thought a local coffee brand that would be involved like within the community aspect of it, giving back, doing farmers markets, things like that nature. Fell upon tea. Started looking up, just reading about it. I will say I'm kind of a nerd, so I will
He knows
start
a
reading.
lot about tea.
Yeah, I know a lot about teas. Anything like I'm doing, I try to like grasp my mind around it and really dive into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just got into like reading about like the tea industry report. Tea is the second most drinking beverage worldwide.
Wow.
Number one is water, of
Mhm.
course. Can't go wrong with that.
Mhm.
Here in the States, though, it's the sixth most drinking beverage.
Wow.
So now, especially, after COVID, people are becoming more health conscious, now with what people are putting in their bodies,
Yeah.
and with things like coffee and juices and like, there's a big hit right now with boba, things like that.
Yeah.
And when you really get into it, you realize that it's a lot of artificial sweetener, a lot of high calorie. Like one of those boba drinks is literally like easy 400 or 500 calories.
Wow.
Yeah,
And the sugar.
yeah, the sugar.
Oh my God. Like
A lot of it
diabetes
just
in a
starch.
cup.
Yeah, it's diabetes in a cup, right? So yeah, I just started learning about tea and realized how great it really is. When you really get into knowing the history and the tradition of tea.
Yeah.
Columbus sailed the seas for tea and spices. We have the Boston Tea Party. We have also what else? The Opium Wars. Opium Wars were originally started out of tea. Yeah, so there's a lot of cool history when it comes to tea. It has to do with meditation. A lot of Buddhists originally brought it out for that specific purpose. It keeps you focused and it keeps you calm. Yeah, that's how we got
very calming
into
here.
That's how we got into tea. And then we met, Fernando and Jake, which are the owners of the Zen's Tea House brand. We started talking, and we really liked, the tea house location here in Norwalk. We got into it. We got into it. We bought it, and just really been focusing. This is our first year. And, I really want to bring out a better product when it came to the tea house here, not just on the beverages, but just the whole ambience. Just, you walking in, I wanted people to have that community here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what the first year was about. Kind of restructuring the shop here, bringing in food, bringing in pastries. We worked with Homeboy Bakery, which is pretty awesome. We get fresh pastries daily. And yeah, so now we're coming into our second year and going to be expanding onto the website, and you'll see us out there in farmers markets as well.
That's exciting. The farmers market. It's like so
Yeah.
good for networking,
For sure.
getting your name out there.
So I like the aspect that you can keep it local and keep it, within the community.
Yeah.
You tend to find a lot of like-minded people,
Yeah.
just like her and I, even like, now like into our older age, going into business and trying to build a community and, build some sort of foundation.
Yeah.
So
Leave something for the kids.
leave something for the kids, right?
And then community, you are born and raised LA area.
Mhm.
What was that like?
So I was actually born right on the border of, I was born in Anaheim.
Okay.
And the very next year, we moved to where my parents still live today here in Norwalk. Even if you go in my parents' backyard, it has like October 16th, 1985
No way.
in the ground. Yeah, my birthday's September 16th, 1984. So right a year after, we moved there and grew up in Norwalk. Grew up in Norwalk, went to elementary school here, middle school, Norwalk High, all my Lancers out there. Coming back here, it's awesome, being able to build something in my hometown and give back. Yeah, growing up in LA, graduated, then turned 19, and everybody here in LA was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
People were going to community college. People were jumping right into work, and I just honestly didn't want to be here. I wanted to get away. I always dreamt about just seeing the world, seeing what else is out there other than just out of LA, just statewide, even country.
Yeah.
With the way we grew up, we're first generation born here. Grew up, parents went to church, so they went to church a lot. So
Hardcore Catholics.
Yeah, either Catholic. Well, for us, we were Catholic and we went Christian, and then really got into it. So that kind of drove a lot of the thinking of where your life is gonna go. And I knew my life wasn't gonna go that route. Out of the blue, I joined the Navy. Like I went to go sit down in the meeting. Told my mom I'll be back. Talked to a recruiter. She said, I don't know why you want to go do that. I said, it's cool, I'll be back. And I came back already signed up.
Oh my
So,
God.
yeah.
Was she like?
Oh, she flipped.
Oh my God.
She flipped. She was upset.
no.
Yeah. It was big. Nobody expected it. For me, it was just been accepted to Cal State Fullerton. And remember, I was at home and telling the family, I got accepted to Cal State Fullerton, things like that. And
Then all of a sudden, just kidding, we're going to the
I
Navy.
remember being at home, I'll be like, oh, cool, great. If you go to Cal State Fullerton, like you can be right here close, like you can still live at home. And that was honestly one of the deciding factors that was just like
Not doing that.
not doing that. Yeah. So January 7th of 2003, I took off to boot camp.
You went from being first generation born Mexican American, being Mexican and first generation. Like there's a lot on us to be like, go to college, be the first one, get educated.
So I think that is a big push. I think anybody can really relate to is being first generation born here and having that education that like, you're supposed to do something with your life now. Like we came here specifically for you to be born here. And if you go to college here, that automatically equals success.
Yeah, instantly, you're good.
Instantly, you're good. You're smart. Yeah. And I think at one point, that was appealing, right? Like here in America, like a college education meant something. For me, it was just like I saw my parents struggle a lot to get my brother into college, and I didn't want that for myself. I was just like, I want to carry myself. I want to be able to say like, no, like you guys didn't have to worry about me, And going the Navy route, I got to immediately get away. I got to Chicago.
Like far away.
Far away. And 3 months of boot camp. I came home for a month, and then I already had picked up my orders, and I said, send me the farthest away. And I went to Yokosuka, Japan.
Oh my God.
So yeah, it really had a big impact on my life because growing up in a Mexican household, from immigrant parents, like work ethic was like everything, right?
My abuelo to his day is like, I'm like, how are you doing? And he's like, good. He's like, are you working hard? Always the first thing he says, are you working hard? And I'm like,
well, it's funny because like now we know it as like generational trauma, right? And you all know what I'm talking about when you're at home and you're like not doing nothing, but you feel anxious. And you're like, why? Like I did everything, I cleaned, but I feel I should be
still gotta be doing
something. I still gotta be
be
doing something, right? So call them generational traumas. Back then it was just
life.
You know what I mean? It's just like wow, like through like Japanese culture, I found a better deeper understanding of life. The way they do it is a lot different than like the way we do it, So,
it's more than one way to live life.
Yeah. Like that was, I guess, that one of the biggest things to me that taught me that like I grew up way different over here, but over here you guys are like something completely different
and thriving
on it. It was definitely life changing. Yeah, I'd say for sure.
It's funny to step out of those spaces. Like I remember growing up, my abuela was like, you are not going to serve a man. You are not, she instilled that in me. You will not serve a man. You will not serve a household. You're going to go to college. You're going to get educated. And I did it kind of backwards. I still messed up a little bit, but then learned and, moved forward. But realizing like, that's not the only way to live. There's other ways outside of culturally, traditionally, the way you grew up.
For sure.
And it's cool to expand and to get out of your comfort zone like you did. You said, send me as far as I can go.
Well, it's just... As funny as I knew it, I needed to be far away from home. because I feel like it would be like still there, you know what I mean? Whether it was using home, family as a resource, or me really just wanting to be on my own. That was like the biggest thing. Like for my family, like I was always that kid that jumping on my bike, taking off, you know, miles away from home, like
Oh
at
my
10 years
God.
old, 12 years old, you know. So I always had that, like I'm not scared. Like I want to know, I want to see. You know, things will happen to you, like they're supposed to, like
part of the
yeah,
process.
it's
That's
part
how
of the
you learn.
process, you know. So I feel I became an entrepreneur before I became an entrepreneur, right? And then with like my father, he's always been like in construction, and now he's like a master electrician, and he's always done everything on his own. My mom's side, I remember her always, you know, hustling. Whether she would go down to LA and buy like thousands of dollars of like really good, nice clothes, right?
Yeah.
Like we knew Ross at home before Ross became Ross,
Yeah.
right? Ross was like our backyard, and we had people coming over buying clothes from mom, and she was like making tamales, and she was making food, like. So I had that like hustler mentality before you become a hustler. I feel like a lot of Latino community, Mexican community especially, you come here, you hustle, you
You're
know what
gonna
I'm saying?
figure it
You
out.
just
It's so rare if you think about it.
like you
Like
go out there, you sell some shit, you know what I'm
it's
saying?
rare to see Hispanics begging on corners. Like
You
I
don't.
always say,
You don't.
creativity and
You don't. It's
ingenuity.
creativity, ingenuity. You go to any tourism, you go to Tijuana, like a lot of the stuff is like
They like new
what
shit,
like
figuring it
yeah,
out.
right? Like literally, right? Like you know, they make jokes on it, right? You know, they give you lemonades, you make lemonade. She was in bells, like
We're
you
going to
know,
figure it out.
yeah, we're gonna figure it
Period.
out. We're gonna figure it out. I think that's something strong within not only an immigrant mind frame, but just, you know, a Mexican community, Latinos.
Yeah. And then what was life like after the Navy? How did that
Um,
transition go?
oh wow.
Because that's a transition,
We get to
right?
the good stuff. 8 years, honorable discharge. They call it your benefits, right? I had my post 9/11 GI Bill, which is basically they pay for your tuition, they pay for your college, and you get paid housing allowance. Housing allowance. So yeah, so for 3 years I went back. I went to a national university. Shout out to National University. Um, really good, really in-depth program. So what they do is like you get involved. So I did a business program. I got my degree in business management.
Okay.
And going through that, we got to visit like actual locations, visit managers, visit regionals, and actually got to learn about business like from like the back end,
Hands-on
hands-on.
in
So
there.
so 2014, got my bachelor's in business management. I like I said, I feel I fell into business. I never really knew what I was gonna do with my life. Still don't. And
All of us, it's fine.
yeah, we're still trying to like I feel like I fell into it without falling into it, right? So they tell you, you know, your 20s, you mess around, you have all your fun. 30s, you figure out what you want to do. 40s, you do it. 50s, 60s, you know, you retire.
Yeah, we're gonna be so wealthy from all
Yeah,
of this.
well,
We're retired at 50.
yeah. So I feel I did a lot of that. I feel like the first part of my life was a lot of just learning, just experiencing. I really never put down roots. I used to kind of hold that as like, damn, I should have been building roots, you know? And I feel like, you know, growing up with the stigma, right? You're 30, you should have a kid, a
A
house,
house,
settle down,
nine
all
to
that
five.
stuff, 9 to 5. And I
It's
knew
not
a
a
9 to 5 was not going to be for me. I knew I was going to be an entrepreneur. I knew I was going to run my own. And I spent a lot of time just learning and getting into that. So one thing I'll tell you off the bat, they never tell you what you need really to get into a business, right? And I feel, at least for me personally, what helped me launch the biggest step forward in business was learning the soft skills. A big one for me would be communication. Learning how to communicate effectively
Yes,
is
that's a
I
good
guess the
one.
word effectively, right? Sender, receiver, like actually find out what actual communication is. Public speaking is a big one. You got to learn about public speaking. You got to be able to
100%.
feel comfortable in an uncomfortable situation, right?
That's one of my favorite lines. Be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know, you really have to throw yourself into it. And there's many ways to do it, but I feel like learning those skills really accelerated a foot forward. You know, time management, emotional intelligence, you know, is a big one because it's a ride.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about if it's going to happen, it's a matter of when it's going to happen.
Yes.
And I feel that opportunities are surrounding us daily. No matter who you are, you have opportunities slapping you in the face daily, but you don't see them because you haven't created the skill. Luck, right?
Is
Luck.
preparation.
Luck is in
opportunity.
preparation meets opportunity, right?
I
So
tell
it's
people
just
that all the time.
so it's like, you know, like you have and it happens to you, right? Where you see something, you're like, man, I wish, or it'd be cool if, coulda, shoulda, woulda, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's when I really like what 30 years old was when it really hit me, and I was like, man, I gotta learn this stuff. And had no public speaking, wasn't good at communicating, None of the stuff I was supposed to have.
Mhm.
Biggest thing was just removing doubt.
Which is the hardest part.
Which is the
Because we're
hardest
our own
part.
worst critics. I always say every morning I wake up and I'm like, get me out of my way so I don't block my blessings. Because we'll sit there and just, right?
Yeah, you'll literally waste blessings.
Mhm.
They'll wither away. You just get so involved in the doubt, and whatever it is you're doing. If you're a creator, if you're an entrepreneur, just do it. And I know you hear it all the time, but it's not necessarily the sense of just do it because you never will. But it's more so like once you start behaving differently in action,
Mhm.
right? Where focus goes, energy goes.
Yeah.
So you just start doing whatever it is that you're gonna do, and all of a sudden ideas come, networking comes, you meet opportunity comes. You have no idea how many times now that I actually believe in manifestation, now that I've actually wrapped my head around success and I know I will be there, it's just like a knowing. Like you gotta know it. If you don't believe it, scratch believing it. You just gotta know it. You have to live it. Like when you talk about it, it's like you've already doing this stuff.
That part right
That's a
there.
big one.
The law of
Anybody who comes into the shop who's spoken to me about business, like it can be very cutthroat about it.
Yeah.
Like I don't like using, oh, I'm gonna try.
We are doing. We're
We're
actively.
yeah, like there's no such thing as try.
Yeah.
Like you're doing,
Yeah.
So replace the word try with the word attempt, and then say it again, and it hits different when you say, "Oh, I'm going to attempt."
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you're doing, And like I said, it's just you starting something. Because once you start it, ideas will flow. I'm gonna get into doing this and get into doing that, and next thing you know, I'm hanging out and I run into somebody who's been doing that for 10 years. And they're like, yeah, man, hit me up. I'll help you out. And you're like,
free skill
yeah,
building,
free
sign me
skill
up.
building, So I feel a lot of that is you're just missing out on all this energy when you're holding back.
I think on top of that, the idea of rejection too, because that's something that starting my business, I had to get okay with. You're going to get rejected. Even on my podcasters, I have a list of people I want to reach out to, but I'm like, what if they say no? If they say yes? Like you have to be okay with the rejection too.
Rejection is something you have to really get comfortable with.
Yes.
Rejection, I feel, is something big that a lot of men, specifically men, kind of fight with. So I feel that at least for me, that's always been a big one. You start kind of backtracking, knowing where that fear of rejection comes from.
Ooh. Okay, therapy, come in. Come in.
I know I'm gonna get some conversations out of this one.
Yeah.
Being a father early on really impacted how I saw life. I was never I live and die for my kids and all my reason for living.
Yeah.
Father is one of the things I am. But I never wanted to just be known like for being a dad, right? There was a very selfish side of things where I wanted to be something myself, accomplish something, create something, right? And so a lot of those things you're kind of moving through the path, and it's like you're moving through like being a father early on, being first generation born here early on, learning about yourself, and because I feel becoming a business owner like is really like a self-growth thing.
Yeah. Big time.
Big time self-growth thing, right? So you go through that whole process of learning how you are, what motivates you, what doesn't motivate you, how you love is a big one, how you receive love is a big one. I feel growing up, and I feel like a lot of Latino Mexicans can grow up with this, is we accidentally were taught additional love, right? Where it's, si te portas bien, si haces eso, then you get this. If you do this, then you get that. If you don't do this, then you don't get that. Accidentally, we're given this sort of love that you have to do something for it.
Yeah.
And I feel over time that creates this, maybe I'm not worthy of it, or, you see how other people grow up and how other kids are treated, what I mean? Like, okay, maybe, what's the difference here? So I feel like that was a big one for me, was learning to break that, because I feel I spent a lot of time chasing relationships that I shouldn't have.
Yes.
For that reason. So I feel that was, learning to break that conditional love thing where
The
it's
anxious
no,
attachment.
the anxious, oh my God.
Yeah,
You're just opening all the
all the
layers,
stuff.
all of them, yeah.
We're here for the healing and the
Right,
awareness.
yeah, you start realizing, I feel that's where my anxious attachment, a lot of it came from. So I feel like understanding that, because then you get into business later on, it's like you have to be patient, you have to be understanding of people.
Yeah.
And then so, especially if you're working with, holistic type of services, or, health, things like that, is a lot of it's like, hey, like patient, understanding, and loving is such a big aspect of business that I feel nobody really talks about. A lot of it was this Wolf of Wall Street, go-getter, cutthroat, and I feel one of the biggest things that for me, I've noticed as a blessing in business is my ability to connect with people. I feel that has like opened so many doors for me, not just in business, but in just, in my personal life. I feel those are big ones that people just don't talk about. Your way to success
The soft skills.
is the soft skills. Yeah. I will say a lot of my experience came in just learning how the psychology behind business, the psychology behind sales, building, habits. Go through all these books right now, currently, I know we talk about like the power of now,
The Power of Now.
right?
The
New
New
World,
Earth.
New Earth, New
Yeah,
Earth, New
that was
Earth,
the
New
one.
Earth,
That's
that
a
one.
great one. I tell people, but before you read that, just know your whole life is about to change. 'Cause the awareness that it's going to give you is
Yeah,
like,
it takes you. I like how the
dang.
book starts talking about like, if you're not feeling it, don't trip. You ain't ready for it.
I tell people that.
Yeah, and like, and
And
if
I
you
don't,
are, it's gonna just amplify it. I
yeah,
feel that really. So yeah,
good
books
one.
out there for you guys to read on your path, building, good habits. There's a lot of good books on that.
The habits are key.
The habits are a big thing. Give a shout out to this person. I bring him up in conversation. I hate you and I love you. But Mike DeFazio, if you see this, respects.
Yes.
I was taught a lot, and things that maybe I didn't understand till now that I had to go through. But it was really just getting down to the understanding of just like your habits. Focus on the actions that will give you the result you want. I think is a big one
That is
because
life key.
throughout the day, you have so many things that come at you daily, right? Whether it's personal, whether it's your kids, whether it's your relationship with your significant other, and then there's like the things you have to do for your career, your business, your service, your product, whatever you're doing. And when you really get into prioritizing, you understand, focusing on the actions that will give you the result you want. There's a lot of things that we do throughout the day that
Pointless.
pointless, right? That do nothing for the goal, do nothing for the goal, and we get so tied up in that. So I feel a lot of that comes into emotional growth, because you have to have the understanding and have the strength, right? To say, okay, boundary,
Yeah.
right? Boundary,
Discipline
discipline,
is
not doing
key.
this, not doing that. Sorry, right now, that's not time for this, it's time for that. Growing up, I was a very shy, I was a very anxious kid. I was always a very ballsy kid. I knew that. I was always like, had no shame, but just I was
Go for it.
dying inside, as I was doing it. And yeah, that definitely exposed all my negativities. The field, if anybody knows what I'm talking about, the field and sales will expose all your all your shortcomings.
It's like that mirror.
Yeah, you just like you're literally, and we tell people like you're people don't buy what you're selling, they buy from you. They buy you.
Yeah, that's fair.
They
Very
buy you.
fair.
They don't buy the product. If you have a good product or service, even better. But
That's cool.
they buy you.
Rhetoric.
Rhetoric. Yeah, they buy
Key.
you. So that was a big one, having the confidence, the power of a question, learning about, 5 steps to a conversation, Fuji factors, all these little things that they teach you in
Yeah.
sales, but essentially it's just psychology. So and through understanding of other people, you get to really understand yourself, using others as mirrors is one of the most greatest things you can do, is use people to reflect.
Big. I tell my kids, using people isn't wrong. We all use each other for something. It's misusing people.
Misuse.
So learn how to use people properly. Do not misuse people. That's what makes it. I tell them all the time, use me. You want to go get whatever, your McDonald's. You want
Yeah.
to go with your little homegirl. What are you doing to make me want to
To do, yeah,
meet
you
you
have, yeah,
halfway?
you
Let's
have to
use each
give to
other
receive. You have to
properly.
give to receive, right? So, and
Add that to soft skills, people.
that's business. That's negotiations. The book that really helped me out was The Body Keeps Score.
Oh my
The
God.
Body Keeps Score is
That's a good one.
good book. Such
I
a
read
good
that over
book.
COVID and I was just like,
That one, like, yeah, and you'll learn
Yes.
on not just like childhood trauma. It'll teach you a little bit of attachment styles, like a little bit of everything. That was a really good book that really helped out in my path to learning and growing.
leveling up to opening the business. What is in the soft skills, in learning your ways, in learning your version of being an entrepreneur? What are some hurdles, some lessons that you can pass forward, help people out?
The first one for sure would be like erase the doubt. I feel like you never really erase it. It's always there. You just use it to propel you forward.
Yeah. Use it as
Instead of
power.
use it as power. Yeah, use that fear. It's like, having courage, like courage is not the lack of fear. It's regardless of having that fear, you know what I mean? Everything, you know, for any guy that's been nervous talking to a girl, you're dying inside, you know, you still go after her, you know. In sales, you know, asking that person for that, you know, that sale, that contract, you know, it's you gotta have the belief. And I feel a lot of it comes from you doing honesty, from you being real,
Yes.
right? Like when it's so easy to sell when you believe in your product. You know what I mean?
And you are the product,
And
so
you,
believe
yeah.
in you,
Oh,
right?
perfect, right? Yeah, you are the product. If you have a product, it's a product. If you have a service, it's still you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you're always the product. So I think that's a big one. Just understanding yourself, learning how you learn the best. I think is a big one. A lot of us
Oh,
don't
that's a
know
good
how we
one.
learn, right? For me, I know I have to intake anything just multifaceted, right? I have to read it. I have to like, okay, let me see you do it. Okay, let me write it down. You know, let me practice it. Like I have to completely submerge myself in it. So that's a big one.
Yes. Look at the alarms letting us know. That is a good one. Validation. I love that. I didn't think about that. Know the way that you learn.
Learn the way you learn, yeah, because a lot of times, like I said, it goes back to wasting a lot of time on things that just don't serve you. So I think a lot of that too is there's find out how you're more effective, right? There's a small book, can't remember off the top of my head, but it's literally like a little 30-page book, and it really just tells you, okay, it's you put so much more energy going into starting something new, right? Because you have to get to like barely know it, mediocre, okay, finally good,
Yeah.
and then years you're putting you know, they say a professional is what, 20,000,
Oh my gosh.
logging 20,000 hours is you can
Ton of
call
hours.
yourself a professional in something. Knowing where to put that time most effectively, I think is a big one, especially nowadays. Like shame on anybody who doesn't have knowledge, because or
Yep.
at least data.
Everything.
Data. I
Yeah.
always tell people you have data, right? Knowledge isn't until you actually put it into play, and then you have
Yeah.
experience. You
But the
don't
data's
know,
there.
right? But the data's there, right?
YouTube, books. We
YouTube,
have so
books,
much nowadays.
internet is just, especially being a creator in the modern day, you have the world at your fingertips,
Yes.
right? Therefore, that's a big one. You know, understand yourself, and you never stop that. But at least having that process, like I said, where focus goes, energy goes, right? So when you start doing these things, you're going to be put into situations that you're going to be forced to grow, right? You're putting yourself in the deep end. So, you know, keeping your eye on the prize and realizing that you're doing for something bigger than just yourself. You know, that's a big one. Get a mentor.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
don't, if you don't not into, there's a great program. Shut them out. I actually have them right now. I'm using them. Ken, my mentor out there. Great guy, but and it's free.
Wow.
It's through the SBA, small business.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you get a mentor, and it's someone professional in the field, and you talk to them. You set up. I talk to mine once a week. So
We'll put that link at the
yeah,
end.
yeah.
Want to
We'll
check
put
out.
all the links at the end. But
Yeah.
yeah, get yourself a mentor,
Yes.
somebody who's already
100%.
doing or has done what you want to do.
And vet
You
them
know,
too, because I went through mentors. I had to vet different one, make
correct.
sure, because it kind of ties back to that idea of how you learn.
Mm-hmm.
It's how what your energy is, knowing your
Mm-hmm.
space and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot, your
Mm-hmm.
goals. Make
Correct.
sure you're aligning
Sure. Yeah,
with
it all
somebody.
goes. It's there. There has to be a certain understanding when it comes to a leader follower type of relationship,
Yeah.
right? You know, as a follower, you have to believe that that person has valid knowledge that they can teach
Yeah.
you, right? You have to be like, okay, I can respect this person. I can learn from this person.
Yeah.
So it makes things, yeah, makes things a lot easier when you just kind of rely on your intuition. You let your intuition guide you, it's gonna put you into some good relationship.
Knowing yourself, knowing your space. I love
Mhm.
that. There's been one hell of a road, I'm sure, going from growing up in LA, going straight into the Navy from high school, 8 years in the Navy, becoming a dad in the middle of all that, coming back to the States, figuring your space out, starting your other business, and then coming here, tied up with being first generation Mexican American. Like where, come on,
Wow.
like
Yeah.
that's, pay respect where respect is due. It's been not an easy road, I'm sure, but you've made it happen. And that's what I want people to see is you can be given those obstacles and you can learn the lessons and you can get past it and you can make it for something. You got a whole business here. Coming from parents that came to this country like with dreams and aspirations. It's possible. We can do this. So that's what I wanted everyone to hear. I was really excited to get you on here and get your story out there. Being the vet, like I said, it ties into a lot of, there was a lot of reasons you shouldn't be where you are right now. And you got past all of that and you used them as power to push you forward.
For sure.
And I'm
Every
sure
day.
this is like not the last business. I'm sure there's gonna be plenty more after this. So
2024 is gonna be a big year.
mhm.
We have a skincare line.
Ooh,
We have, yeah, it's really good, organic. You actually already find us Mad Penguin Skincare.
What? I didn't even know about this. I'm just hearing this
Oh,
right
my
now.
bad. I'll hook you up with a bigger project. Tequila, pure,
What?
pure,
What?
pure. There's a lot of probiotics in it. There's a lot of goodness in it. It just has to be pure, of course.
Wow.
So
Look at
yeah.
Mexicans again. We're already ahead of the game. We knew
So
something.
yeah, stay tuned for that. That's gonna be a big project here. 2024 is gonna be a big year. Keep growing, keep understanding. Last bit of advice I can say that really helped me move forward was forgive yourself.
Mm.
I cannot think about so many times in which I was in
Mm.
mental holes for months, for years. My biggest advancements was forgiving myself.
Such a hard
When
one.
I forgave myself, and I literally forgave myself, I screamed it out crying in the middle of the night. I just took a tremendous weight off my shoulders.
Mm.
And that's, I can say, was a big one. Big one was that.
I think that's like
So,
one of the biggest keys in this whole podcast.
yeah.
That's huge for a lot of us. I think it really ties back to that, to the life experiences and
Mhm.
whether we're first generation or we've been here or whatever your case is, there's a
Mhm.
lot of generational baggage, we'll say. We'll keep it light. Generational baggage that we're releasing. This our generation is, if you're
Imagine if like
this age,
airlines charge you by your emotional baggage.
I would never fly. I would never go anywhere.
Yeah, it'd be really bad.
But it's something that, like I was
It's
telling you
really
earlier, it's the awareness. We have the
Mhm.
awareness. The awareness is key. The accountability is key. And learning our lessons so we don't have to make the same mistake and forgiving yourself.
Definitely forgive yourself,
Huge.
learn. Like, you walk into a room, right, and you turn one light on, but it's like, why don't you turn all the lights on? And I
Ooh.
feel that's a big one. At least for me, it was like, why am I just taking the lid off? Take it all off. You know what I mean? Like, put yourself out there.
Yeah.
How are you going to meet that one, whether it's that one, partner, that one client, that
Mm.
one business partner? Like, how are you going to meet that one if you're not putting yourself out there? If, like,
That's a big one.
I get emails, I get DMs from like, hey, I've been watching your stuff. I'm a creator. Let's collaborate. And I'm just like, if I wasn't out there, like that would never happen. Go all out.
Get
Stop holding
comfortable
back.
being uncomfortable, like we
Get
said at the
comfortable.
beginning.
Jump in the deep end. Stop holding back. Everybody always, whether it's a conversation of I should have said this and I should have said that. It's that delayed gratification, right? It's not gonna happen right now. Keep your head down and you just keep going forward and keep believing in yourself most of all. Because I'm not gonna tell
Yes.
you it's a pretty road.
That part, I'm like, it's not easy.
It's
The
not
healing,
at
starting a
all.
business, none of it's easy, but it's worth it.
You're never done healing. Don't wait for a good time. Just it's a process.
I love asking everyone this at the end of it. If we made a movie about your life and we had intro song and the ending credit song, what would your be? And mind you, like it's a movie, right? So it's the beginning of your life all the way to the last moments.
Okay, so the beginning would have to be some like West Coast gangster. Just
Chronic 2001.
yeah, yeah, right. Like that would be like the
That's the
intro
jam.
song. Ending is not ending. There's no ending. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't have an ending song. I would have a chorus. I'm still going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it. Thank you so much. I
Thank you,
appreciate your
cousin.
time. I appreciate your energy. I appreciate you being vulnerable to put some stuff out there for everyone to see and to get some gems of knowledge from. And you have Instagram, everything's online. Can they
So yeah, find us on Instagram at Zen's Tea House. You
Okay.
can find us in TikTok as well, Zen's Tea House Norwalk. And you can look us up at www.zenstearoom.com. And we have about 20 or 30 premium teas offhand that we could pack here in the shop. If you're looking for something more particular, just give us a call and we could definitely order that for you.
Yeah. And then when you open the next business, we'll do this again for the next business.
Sure. Thank you, cousin. Appreciate everybody. Love you guys. Peace and prosperity.
Prosperity. Till next year. Okay, how do you feel?
I feel good. I feel hungry.
Oh.
I burn a lot of emotional calories.